Hey guys, welcome to Recraft Relic channel and I hope you are doing well. So today we are going to continue on our last week project. So basically we were building a multi-step form in VueJS and Tailwind. And yeah, so this is the second part. Let's go ahead and start working on it. But first, before starting the video, I'm checking out the stats of my YouTube channel and basically 79.8% of the people who watches these videos are not subscribed. So I'll just say if you like these videos and if it benefits you in some way, I'll say support us by subscribing to the channel. And yeah, so now let's get started. So I basically have the code from the last week here, and this is already running. So let's start right here. So great. So this is basically the form that we built last week, and you can see basically this multi-step form. So now so this is the about page, this is the profile page we had. So now basically what we were trying to do is we had these form and now we want to like get values from these form to the global state which we have in the multi-step. Please go ahead and watch the previous video. If you don't, then it will not make much more sense to you. So now we had this form and we had these values basically where we are saving the data from these steps. And you can see, if I tape whatever name is here is being presented here. The reason being, if you go inside the information component, I have binded the value form.value and that is being passed as a prop to the component. So now here is the form value.dob. Now I'm going to bind the age value as well here. We bind value form value dot age. This form value is basically being passed by multi-steps. You can see here. And how it is extracting value is so form value and then the steps, current step. So whatever is the current step. So we have different step and every step have a label basically, right? And so according to that label, I'm extracting a form value. For example, for the first step, the label is information. So I am extracting this value. For the next step, it's about. So I'm extracting the value from here and so on, profile and all that. So now let's go ahead and go into an information component. We have bind the value of age. Now let's go ahead and do it for the, and now you can see, the age is 0. And if I go ahead and put a static value here, like maybe 12, then you can see, it becomes 12 basically. So now I'm going to go here, information dot view, and I'm just going to say v bind value. So I'm binding the value form value dot email. So once I have done that, then you can see just another manoj@gmail.com here, right? Great. But we don't want it like this, so I'm just going to remove these values. We don't need these, right? So I'm just going to remove just gmail.com as well, right? So let's okay, so let's do one thing. So we have this form. I can go next, and at the last step I do submit. So on submit, let's console all the values that we store in this state, right? So let's create a submit method, submit method, and what it will say, this dot console dot log. I'm not sure why I'm typing this. So this not this console dot log, this dot form value. So I'm just going to console the form value, whatever the value is inside it. And here I'm going to add a on click. I think it's there. Yeah. So here I can just say submit. So whenever there is an on click, just submit it. So your good name, Manoj, your date of birth, I'm just going to use a random month. How old are you? 23, 24. just another manoj@gmail.com. Let's go next, and let's see if on submit it will show us information or not. So you can see the proxy object. So the reason it is a proxy, it's not a plain object, because Vue basically keep track of its state. So instead of plain object, it uses proxy. But we don't have to worry about it because because right now we are like we can access proxies values same as we access the on normal object values. But here you can see in information we don't have anything, it's not showing anything. And the reason it's not showing anything because we are not updating anything. So we are just passing the values, but we are not actually whenever we made a change, we are not actually getting value from there and saving it inside this state. So in order to do that, I'm going to write a update function here, not here but here. So methods, inside methods there will be an on change function, and inside that on change you can say a method or whatever, but let's it's a function. So inside function I will have event, because whatever on whatever component I will put it, it will basically point to that event whenever I'll make a change. So on change, what I'm going to do is I'm going to emit an event. So this dot dollar emit. So the reason I'm emitting an event is because whenever you want to update, like whenever you want to trigger some change in the parent from a child, you have to emit an event, right? You have to emit an event. You have to tell the parent that I want to do something. So here is the event that you can put a listener to and whatever you want to do with it. So this dot emit. So this dot emit form value change. Okay, form value change, and then I'll say label. The reason I need a label because I want to update only the information object inside this about information profile. I want to just update the information. So I'm just going to say information label and data to be like this, triple dot this dot form value. So whatever is the form value plus the current e dot target dot name and e dot target dot value. So why I'm doing it? So the reason I'm doing it is not defined because I named it event, right? So I'm just going to say. So the reason I'm doing e dot target name, e dot target dot value, because I'm going to put those listener in here, that on change listener in here, and whenever an event will emit, it will read the name. So name, here it's dob, here it is age, here it is email, right? So let's go ahead and do that. So there are like multiple change events. One is at change, like which is on change, and there is at input, on input. So if you're coming from a React background, you know that what will happen on change, right? So basically what will happen on change is whenever you type something, on change will get fired. But in reality, and according to HTML specification, like HTML5 or JavaScript specification, on change only get fired when the input element or whatever element you are on gets blurred. So if you click outside, then only on change event will get fired. So in order to mimic on change on every key press, what we have to do is we have another event which we call on input, and in Vue it is at input. And at input basically will fire whenever you type something. So whenever you type something, at input will basically get fired. So at input we'll call on change. So it's a very important distinction, because I am from a React background, and for me on change is like the event that I will be using here, but in reality it's at input. So we'll go here, at input. So we are basically emitting this event, and because we are emitting this event, we are going to register it as emit event. So emits form value change. Now in our parent component multi-step view, we are going to register this event. So at form value change call call update value or update form value. I think that will be much better name. So update form value, and I'm going to go here in the methods. I'm going to define this here. I'm going to receive a payload. I'm just going to call it payload. And so inside payload, there are two things. One is label, which we want to update, like whichever step we are in. And then there is the value of that step. So for example, if you're in information, if you're in about, or if you're on a profile, right? So what I'm going to do is this dot form value equal to triple dot this, yeah, you can say triple dot this dot form value, or this fine. This is this dot form value payload dot label is payload dot data, right? So like essentially what we are doing, we are retaining all the form value, but we are like adding we are modifying that label, only that label. So for example, in here, if the data is coming from information component, then it will be like only this will be get modified. If it's up from about, then it will be modified, and it will retain the values for profile or information. So I think that is good. Let's see if this works. Let's just reload it once. Manoj, some random date. How old are you? 24. We're just another Manoj at gmail.com. And go like this. Next. Let's submit it. Let's see if we have the values. Target information. And as you can see, I have the date of birth, age, name, email. And that's good, right? So now we can mimic the same functionality in all of our components, okay? So let's do that. I'll go here. And you can also see, the state is basically, saved across steps. So it's not like if you go to another step, then the state value is getting vanished. It's not like that. It's there. It's stored in the parent component, and it's being transferred here. So now let's do it for other components as well. So we have about the next component. I'm just going to copy paste these things like props and all that stuff, because it essentially will be the same thing. So now we'll go here. So props form value, instead of email, we have address, right? Address, which is a string, great. And then we have a gender, which is a string as well. So great, we don't need these. This is fine. And now here I'm going to bind the events. So firstly, we'll bind the value. We bind value equal to form value dot address, right? And what happened? Can I read address of undefined form value? Form value. Yeah, that's fine. We'll check what's happening there. So form value dot address, we bind value in the props form value, great. So value, and then at change, we're going to change, not change on input, right? Because it's a text area. So input, we're going to call the method, which is on change, right? So it says cannot read property address of undefined and all that stuff, right? Saying that. Go here. Oh, it's fine. I think there's some issues with the hot reloading, but yeah, no, it's fine. And for this, we can't obviously tie a value to it because to the radio, because it's already have a value which we need when it's selected. So we're just going to, like add a on change. Here I'm going to add a change here because whenever you click on radio, it's automatically blurred because you have to click outside. So it's essentially a click. So I'm going to use change. I'll call the onChange function or method. So at change, just going to copy this, and here as well, I'm just going to paste it, and I think it should work. Just the label now should be about, because we want to update the value for the second step, not for the first. So let's just go here, Manoj, date of birth, let's select some random date. How old are you? 24. Just another Manoj at gmail.com. Next. Where do you live? 12th Street, US. Mail. Next. Click on submit. And let's see. Target. So you can see the information, like information, retain the value 24, this. And abouts also, retain the value, address and the gender. So that's cool. Yeah. All right. So that's great. Now let's do it for the last, component. Not the, component or the step. So I'm just going to copy this profile.view. I'm just going to go here, paste it, form value so in here there will be two values. One is bio, the second is profile picture. So profile picture and bio, right? And there is a onChange, and inside onChange it should be profile. So I'm going to tie the value here. We bind value equal to profile, not profile picture, but bio, form value.bio, and so form value.bio, right? And here things will be a bit interesting. The reason being, what we have to do is we have to actually, on this click, we have to open the file uploader. And if you go and watch my last video, what we basically did, we created an input event, but we are we have hidden it because we don't want it to show that input. Instead, on clicking on this, we want to call the file browser, right? So for that, what we have to do is we have to give it a ref. So I'm going to give it a ref as a file uploader. And on this div click, on click, I'm just going to say $refs dot, right? So $refs dot file uploader dot click. Let's see if that works. So I clicked on it, and yeah, it works. So I can choose any image. So for example, this, but essentially nothing is happening right now, right? So because we just click on it, and we are not providing any method which will occur when the input will on change, basically when we'll select the file. So for that, I'm just going to say at change upload file, and I'm just going to define that method here, upload file, right? And event. So now I'm going to extract that file, const file if.target.files 0th element, because we only want one file, so 0th element. Now if not file, if there is no file, then return. We don't want to do anything, right? But if there is a file, then what we want to do is we want to read that file into data URL so we can render it here, right? In real life scenario, maybe you'll upload this to some service and then get the URL to show it here. So basically what I want to do is I want to show a preview here in instead of this cloud icon when there is a file selected. So instead of, like, I don't have an API, so what I'm going to do is I want to convert this file into a data URL and just render it here. So let's do that. So in order to do that, I have to read the file. So I'm going to create a file reader, const file reader, new file reader, and then file reader dot on load equal to arrow function. So whenever there is, so onload basically means when the file is being, file reader is like done with reading the file. So what will happen then? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to event this, like I'm going to emit this event and update the profile picture. So label profile, this is fine. So e.target.name, instead of e.target.name, there will be profile picture because I want to update the profile picture, property. And instead of eTarget.value, it will be FileReader.result. The reason being that is, where it hold the result basically. And so that is that. And now I'm just going to say FileReader.read as data URL and just pass the file. So I'll just tell you what is happening right now. We upload a file and then we extract it from the from the target files. We create a new file reader, we read it as a data URL, and then we say when when the file reader is finished with reading the file, then just like emit this form value change event where it updates the profile picture with the result that is being with the result of the basically the conversion of the file to data URL string, which is basically the source of the file. Now here what I'm going to do is I'm going to say an image. I'm going to render an image which I'm going to bind its source to form value.sr, not the src but profile picture, right? Let's see if that works. All right, so we're going to render an image, and we're going to bind its source to profile picture. Let's see if that works. I click on this, I click on this image, I click on open, and you can see it's there, right? So what essentially is happening is I'm reading the file, I'm getting its source, and then basically binding it to the image, and then it's being shown. But the size of it is not good, so I'm just going to say I'm going to use Tailwind, and I'm going to say height 40 and width 40. I'm just going to say height 40, width, let the width be there, and I'm just going to save this, and height is there, and then I'm just going to make it rounded. We will not be able to see the edges here, but I'm just going to make it rounded. And here what I'm going to do is it will only render VF when there is a source. So form, if there is no source, then it don't have to render, right? Profile picture. So if there is a profile picture, only render, else render this cloud icon. All right, because I don't need that cloud icon anymore if there is a image. So v else, right? So if or else, and I'm also going to give it bit margin b4, margin from bottom, right? But I don't want, so if there is no image, like now it should render this cloud icon, but if I click on this and go here and choose this, then you can see it's it basically the cloud icon is not there anymore, right? And I can again click to change the image, so I can make it this image, right? And you can see the rounded corners, right? So this is great. Right, so this works. Let's see if when I submit it, it saves all the values. So bio, I go to target, I have profile picture, I can see the profile picture, but it's not. Yeah, the reason being there is no at input event, right? So which is on change. Right, now let's go here and say, hey, this is me, submit it. Yeah, so now you can see the bio. All right, so yeah, this is great, right? So we can capture, so let's capture the like the value of all these steps first, right? One, how old are you? 12. Where can you send? Just another Manoj@gmail.com. I go next, right? And I can again click to change the image. So this is great. So we can capture, so let's capture the like the value of all these steps first, right? One, how old are you? 12. Where can you send? Just another Manoj@gmail.com. I go next. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I go Where do you live? 12th Street, US. Are you a male? Next. There is already a profile picture. Describe. I can upload a different picture if I want to. For example, this dummy green image. And there is, click on submit. Let's see if we have all the values. So yeah, inside about we have the values, inside information we have the values, and inside profile we have the bio and everything. So we are able to capture the values across steps, and the values are also saved as well. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to render a thank you message, for submitting the form. So let's go into our multi-step component here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to just do this and render a div, right? Render another div and say render it only if when not submitted, right? So till the form is not submitted, I'm just going to say render this form, else go ahead and render a form with the text thank you for submitting the form. Next line, another next line, we will get back to you soon, right? And then let's take a variable in the state submitted and say by default false, right? And when the form is submitted, then make the this dot submitted it to true, right? Let's see if that works. I can see it here. All right, yeah. The reason because of this, so we else, because it should be either that or either this, right? And I'm also going to give it like some classes to enlarge the text. So text 5XL, and I'm going to also make the font bold. So let's just make the font bold. So these are our Tailwind classes. So you can go ahead and check those out. I click, so you can say thank you for submitting the form. We will get back to you soon. I'm going to also align this text to the center. Text center. Text center. And I'm going to change the color of the thank you for submitting the form. Also, I'm going to give this div a bit shadow. So shadow LG. Again a Tailwind class, and P10. So padding from like all the areas, and then I'm just for this line, I'm just going to change its color. So I'm just going to say span, and here I'm going to say class text green, maybe 4 or 500. And yeah, so you have thank you for submitting the form. We'll get back to you soon. And if you reload the page, then it is this. Now I'm going to go through the whole form. Just another manoj@gmail.com. Where do you live? 12th Street. Mail. Next, upload the profile picture. Anything. Open. Hey, this is me. Click on submit, and you can say thank you for submitting the form. We'll get back to you soon. And we have all the information here. So yeah guys, this is basically this is our multi-step form. I'll push everything into a repo and make it available in the description. So yeah guys, this is it. And in the next Saturday, at the next Saturday, we will going to do again another live coding session. So I'll see you then. And if you haven't subscribed, please go subscribe and tell me, what kind of videos you want me to do. And yeah.